Namaste to all of you. My name is Sundar Balakrishnan. This session of YouTube is going to be very interesting for you, I'm sure. You all know that there is going to be a lunar eclipse that is going to be happening all over the world on 3rd of March 2026. However, there is a lot of confusion as to where it is visible, where it is not visible. All those confusions, I'm sure I will be able to clarify for you. As per my understanding, an eclipse, whether it is solar or lunar, will be impacted on an individual or a nation only if that eclipse is visible in that particular area. I have seen in the past, even the recent solar eclipse which was there, if I am not mistaken, that was on 17th of March. There were a lot of YouTube videos which were saying that it will affect this individual, that individual, irrespective of the location of the individual or a nation. But as per my understanding and as per my practice of so many years, of 25 years in astrology, I have seen the effect of eclipse is seen in an individual or a nation only when that eclipse is visible in that particular area. This you have to be very clear. And this eclipse are going to affect not only the individual, even the nation, because the nation also has a horoscope. Now, if you come to the eclipse, as far as the almanac or panchang is concerned, which is considered by a lot of uh, families in India, whether it is North India or South India, there are various variations in the panchang. I will be now taking you through the slide which I have made specifically for this, and through this you will be able to understand as to this eclipse or whichever eclipse that comes up in the future, whether it will affect you or not, or it will affect your nation where you are residing. I will take you through this presentation. You can go through this. Now there are two types of eclipses you all may be knowing. One is a solar eclipse and other one is a lunar eclipse. In the case of lunar eclipse, it is the earth that comes in between the sun and the moon. You can see in the presentation. And in the case of solar eclipse, the moon comes in between the sun and the earth. Okay. Now, it means that sun, moon and earth have a role to play in this. That means these three bodies come in a perfect straight line for the eclipse to happen, whether it is lunar or solar. Next, the confusion that arises for all of us is because of the panchang that is being used, which is in English known as almanac. In the North India, basically they go by the Vikram Samvat Panchang, and in the South India, they go by the Amanta calendar, which is very popular in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and all those states. There are different types of panchang depending upon the whether it is lunar or solar. It is given in this PowerPoint presentation. You can go through that in detail. But the main problem that comes up is whether a panchang is based on what type of calculation. Basically, there are two types of calculation method. One is known as Vakya Panchang in South India, which is known as Vakya Panchang, which is basically based on traditional rules, and it is used in some Tamil and older regional panchangs. And the second, which is the main thing, is a Siddhant or a Drik Ganita Panchang, which is more precise and it is more based on astronomical calculations, and it is based on Surya Siddhanta. For any kind of planetary movements, whether it is Saturn or Sun or Moon or any kind of planetary movements, it is always prescribed that you should always follow Drik Ganita Panchang. Drik means as you see in the sky, which is going to be more perfect rather than a Vakya Panchang, which is based on certain rules. Because of these two types of Panchangs, we find almost more than 30 or more than that, I don't know, there are many number of Panchangs which are available in India. But the basic Panchang which all of us should follow is Drik Ganita Panchang and not Vakya Panchang, especially for the planetary movements. Now, taking this into the base, the lunar eclipse that is going to form or occur on the 3rd of March is not going to be visible in a lot of places. I will be taking you through this presentation where you can see the lunar eclipse and whether that eclipse is going to be visible fully or partly. In this presentation, it gives you the visibility of lunar eclipse which is going to happen on 3rd of March. This is with respect to Mumbai. You will see that the eclipse begins, that is penumbral eclipse, which all those terms which are there is already covered in the second slide. You can see where I have explained about solar and lunar eclipse. Without getting into the what is penumbral eclipse, the eclipse begins at 2:14 p.m. However, for people residing in Mumbai, since it is a daytime, moon will be below the horizon. Similarly, if you see the times that is given here, the partial eclipse will begin at 3:20 and that too will not be seen as it will be below the horizon. The maximum eclipse will be there at 5:03:46 for Mumbai, and that also will not be seen since it is below the horizon. The partial eclipse will end at 6:47 p.m. and this is the time when the moon may be just touching the horizon or I would say it will be just rising, or it would have risen. And the penumbral eclipse will end at 7:53 p.m. Now the confusion here in Mumbai is whether it will be seen or not seen, whether it will be visible or not visible. Now, if you see as per the Drik Panchang, the moon is going to rise on 3rd of March at 6:44 p.m. Whereas the eclipse is going to begin at 2:14 p.m. and it will be visible, if you see in the table, it will be visible till 6:47 p.m. Therefore, the partial eclipse will be visible for 3 minutes from 6:44 p.m. to 6:47 p.m. and the partial eclipse will end at 6:47 p.m. So the confusion whether it will be seen or not seen is not at all there. It will be seen. However, the visibility is going to be there only for 3 minutes from 6:44 p.m. to 6:47 p.m. Now, what are the important parameters in lunar eclipse? The lunar eclipse, when it occurs, the maximum phase, that is the maximum eclipse that gets formed, that point of time is very, very important. Second, the eclipse, in this case, since it is a lunar eclipse, the position of the moon is very important. When I say position, the position will be with respect to in which zodiac sign that moon is traveling at the time of eclipse, and at which degree it is placed when the eclipse is at its maximum. Apart from that, we all know eclipse happens because of the Rahu, which is known as north node, is the one, and the Ketu, which is south node. These two shadow planets, these are not physical bodies, these two shadow planets capture the moon, or in layman terms we say Rahu swallows the moon. In actual practice, we are supposed to take the positions of the Rahu and Ketu also, but we will not get into this Rahu and Ketu as of now because it will become too technical for you layman. So we will consider only the position of the moon. Second, the next one. As I said, lunar eclipse is visible only in certain places. Now, if you want to know, for example, if you are staying in New York, if you want to know whether it is going to be visible in New York or not, you have to simply go to this presentation here and click New York. Once you click, you will get to know the place where it is seen, and it will also tell you the moon rise or moon set. Now, in this case, the moon setting happens in New York at 6:28 a.m. and the partial eclipse will end at 8:17 a.m. That means the moon setting which is there here, the moon setting will depend upon the sunrise there. If the sunrise is before this moon setting, that particular place of New York, you will not be able to see the lunar eclipse. So in this case, from 6:28 a.m. till 6:33 a.m., the moon will get below the horizon at 6:33 a.m. So it will be visible for a few minutes from 6:28 to 6:33, or it may not be visible at all. Okay. Similarly, if you want to know about the other countries, you can go and click to that particular state or the country. Now, as far as India is concerned, it is visible in Kolkata, Delhi, and Mumbai also. Now there is a confusion whether it is how to find out whether it is visible in your state or not. For that, you just need to click the particular location. For example, I am staying in Mumbai, so I will click here in Mumbai, and this will take me through the website which gives you the position of lunar eclipse, whether it is visible or not visible. Now if you see, the moon rise at 6:45. Here the moon rise is at 6:45 p.m. whereas the partial eclipse ends at 6:47 p.m. In the previous presentation, I had said the moon rise is at 6:44. There is a difference of 1 minute, probably because of the Drik Panchang software that I use. There is a 1 minute difference here. However, even if you take at 6:45, it is visible in Mumbai for 2 minutes. So the confusion whether it is visible or not visible is not there. It is visible, but only thing is it is visible only for a few minutes, that is 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. Now you can also go through individual states given in this presentation, and if you click, you will be able to see for your particular area whether it is visible or not. For example, if I take you through Tamil Nadu, if I take you through Tamil Nadu, say Coimbatore or Chennai, if I say Chennai here, Chennai, the moon rise is at 6:17 p.m. whereas the partial eclipse will end at 6:47 p.m. So it is clearly visible for quite a number of time, quite a number of duration in Chennai, that is from 6:17 p.m. to 6:47 p.m. So Chennai, it is clearly visible. Okay. Now I have also given you the link here for different cities of Maharashtra. You can click there. Now the most important aspect of this lunar eclipse is, how do you find out whether this lunar eclipse is going to impact you, or for that matter any individual or anyone in your family, or whether it will affect your nation or any person whom you know. So this is the most important slide that you must be concentrating on. because you have seen a lot of videos which are floating around in social media where it only scares you. As I said, a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse will impact you only if it is visible in your area. If it is not visible in your area, you don't have to worry about that at all. Now, the most important parameters are to find out whether the lunar eclipse is going to impact you or not. First is, you should know that the lunar eclipse is happening in the sign Leo, that is Simha Rashi. So all those persons born with moon in the Leo will get affected, as simple as that. Second, or the next point is, the sign Leo or Simha Rashi has 3 nakshatras, namely 4 padas of Magha, 4 padas of Purva Falguni, and 1 pada of Uttara Falguni. Next, at the time when the eclipse is at the peak, that is maximum, the degree of moon is at 18 degrees in Leo, and we all know that each sign has 30 degrees. So the moon at that point of time when the eclipse is at its peak, the degree of moon is 18 degrees, which falls in the Purva Falguni second pada of Leo. So put it simply, all those people who are born in the Leo sign or Simha Rashi, or where the moon is in Simha Rashi, especially in the nakshatra of Purva Falguni, will get affected the most. Next, since the sign Leo has the other 2 nakshatras, namely 4 padas of Magha and 1 pada of Uttara Falguni, these 2 nakshatras where moon is placed in your chart, they will also get affected to a lesser extent. Similarly, as we all know, there are 27 nakshatras in the zodiac. The trinal nakshatras to Purva Falguni, in which the eclipse is happening at 18 degrees. The trinal nakshatras of Purva Falguni, namely Purvashada and Bharani, will also get affected, though to a lesser extent. Mind you, the Purvashada falls in the sign Sagittarius, that is Dhanu Rashi, and Bharani falls in the sign Aries, which is known as Mesha Rashi. Since the eclipse is happening at 18 degrees in the second pada of Purva Falguni, the trinal nakshatras most affected with respect to Purva Falguni will be second pada of Purvashada, which falls in the sign Sagittarius or Dhanu Rashi, and second pada of Bharani too will get affected, which is falling in Aries or Mesha Rashi. But these will be to a lesser extent. The effect will be to a lesser extent. We have seen, or we have considered only moon while knowing the effect of the lunar eclipse. However, if your rising sign also falls in the sign Leo, or any other planet is placed in the sign Leo, those planets also will get affected. When I say rising sign, it is known as Lagna. That means the sign that is rising at the time when you were born. The only difference is between the eclipse falling on the ascendant or the moon is that since the ascendant signifies your physical body, it can give you physical injuries, failures, dejections, etc. And since moon signifies the mind, the eclipse falling on the moon in Leo can give you mental anxiety and mental worries. Now, apart from this ascendant and the moon, there can be other planets also in the sign Leo in your horoscope. Now, what will happen to that? It is very simple that if you have, say, for example, Venus in the sign Leo, then since Venus signifies marital harmony, money, eyes, spouse, vehicles, etc., the lunar eclipse falling over the Venus in your chart can affect these things in your life because Venus signifies these in astrology. Now, as I said, it will not impact everyone who has moon in Leo. The reason being that if you are going through a dasha or a planetary period which is very beneficial for you, then this eclipse may not affect you at all. However, if the dasha in operation for you is very negative, then this lunar eclipse will also be negative for you. So far, we have seen how is this upcoming eclipse of 3rd March lunar eclipse is going to affect you as an individual. Now, there will be a very important question that will come up in your mind as to which are the well-known persons who can get affected. Now, as per my data bank that I have, people like Anupam Kher, Dalai Lama, Elon Musk, Jasprit Bumrah, Murli Manohar Joshi, M.K. Stalin, who is the current Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Supriya Sule, who is the head of NCP Sharad Pawar faction, Uddhav Thackeray of Shiv Sena. All these people will certainly get affected because their moon is in Simha Rashi or Leo sign. So far, we have seen how this lunar eclipse is going to impact you as an individual. Whether this eclipse is going to occur or happen in your nation where you stay. We have also seen how this lunar eclipse is going to impact certain important personalities. Now, what we will come is the most important point is whether this eclipse is going to impact India. Now, let me tell you, friends, as far as mundane astrology is concerned, I have told you every nation has their horoscope. This is based on their event as to when they got independence, when they got freed from British rule, and all those similar kind of events. Based on that time and date, every nation has their horoscope. Now, as far as India is concerned, India got independence on 15th of August 1947 at 12 midnight. And you can see on the right hand side, I have given you the horoscope for India, where moon is placed in the sign Cancer at 3.59 degrees. And on the left hand side is the eclipse chart for Delhi when the eclipse was at the maximum peak at 5:03:29 p.m. You can see that moon is in the sign Leo at 18 degrees. Since there is no moon in the sign Leo as far as India independence chart is concerned, nor there is a ascendant there, nor there is any other planet situated in the sign Leo in the India independence chart. India is not going to get impacted due to this eclipse. If at all anything majorly that can happen in India, I can say that that cannot be because of eclipse. That could be because of several other planetary positions. And we as mundane astrologers not only consider the eclipse chart for predicting the mundane events, we take into account several other charts and planetary positions at a particular point of time and then predict what can happen for a particular nation. Friends, as of now, I am sure your doubts on whether this eclipse is going to impact you or not is very clear. Hope there is no confusion on whether this eclipse is going to be visible in your area or not is also clear. I suggest you take out your horoscope, personal horoscope, or for that matter, any of your family members, and go through whether is there any planet or a rising sign that is ascendant or any planet or for that matter moon in the sign Leo in your chart, and see whether it is at what degree situated in your individual chart. And as I said earlier, see whether it is in Purva Falguni Nakshatra or not, whether it is nearby the 18 degrees or not. Based on that, you can decipher whether this is going to impact you or not. I am sure you have liked this presentation. In case you have any other doubts with respect to this upcoming lunar eclipse, or for that matter, any kind of a eclipse that can occur in the past, in the future, if you have any doubts, you can very well give your comments on my YouTube channel. As and when I have time, I will try to respond to your comments. And in case you have any other doubt with respect to this presentation, you can also give your comments. I will be happy to clear your doubts. Thank you very much.